Hello everyone, thank you very much for your contributions and your engagement on our lecture videos. In this session, I'm taking the last episode, that is what we've all been waiting for, that is inserting questions into our lesson structure. So I think in place of adding, I want to say inserting here into the lesson structure. Now, as I told you earlier on, you always want to structure out your lesson first before you even start using the virtual space. So if I'm an instructor here, I have to structure my lesson. How do I want it to appear? So probably I want to have a content first. After the content, I want to have a question. Then I take a second contest. Then I take a question for that contest. Probably you want a question after each unit you give to the student. So this is why you need to structure out, probably on paper first or any app you can structure out before you start typing, to make your life easier. So notwithstanding that, under content 1, so let's say from here I can have multiple quizzes and not necessarily just one question. I can have several questions embedded. So all these type of questions can take these types. It can be MCQs, it can be numerical. Numerical means you have a box to fill in. It can be an essay where the student will type in the answers for you. It can be a matching, it can be a short answer. These are at your disposal. The only thing you don't have access to is the clones type of question that is embedded. The lesson structure, they don't give you access to that, but then you have all the others to work around. So let's see how we can enroll through virtual space. I won't take this one off for now. Before that, I would like to take you through my already made lesson structure here to see what I'm talking about. So let's take this one for example. I want to go straight to edit lesson. From the welcome page, there's a test. So look at this test here. It's a matching test for the student to take. Okay, it's a matching text. I'll show you how that is done. If I go back, there's another test after taking the limit of functions. So test 1, this is a simple MCQs with 2 options. Test 2 also is a true and false question. Okay, let me see one more test done here. Test 3 is also a true and false question for the students after taking whatever was before it. I think that is all. Okay, there's one more test here. Yeah, there's also multiple choice question. Okay, and that is a wrap up for the model. Okay, so it says happy studies, you are done, you went through this, that, and then when I click on that, I have my congratulations. Okay, but that's not the essence of my discussion today. Let me go back one more bit and take you through this model. I just wanted to have a feel of whatever I want to take you through before I do that. Okay, so after introduction to principle, I have a true and false question here. Okay, let's go back, and then I have another MCQ embedded here. So it can take any form. It can have mathematical expressions, it can have words, anyhow you want to. I have another matching here. Okay, I think that's all. And then there's a true and false. I think you've had enough of all this. So let's see how we can do that. Probably you are in the state as this stage of in my module 3 where no, I don't want to show this, where I've made the content done, but there are no inserted questions. As you can see, these are all content I have created. There are no questions to it. So that is the state we are in now, and we want to add up some questions after each section. So let's wrap up. Let's use our dynamic virtual classroom here where we've created some lesson. You know, you can't have questions embedded in course overview unless you want to ask certain questions about your personality, the overview from the student, the expectations. You can do that. Okay, but I'm not interested in asking questions there. Let's take you through the lessons you've created. So I want to click on lesson here. These are the content we've created without any question. Again, I want to show you this. It says you must structure out where do you want to place the quiz 1. So assuming that after the introductions page I want them to take a quiz. Okay, so it means you come here, and then it's no more adding a content page, it is adding a question page. So you click on add a question page and say which type of question do you want to insert. You have essay, multiple choice, you have multiple numerical, you have matching, short answer, true and false. So if it's true and false, you select the true and false, and then you add your question. You want to also be informed that this does not vary for student. It will be the same set of questions for student. So let me see, let's say test 1. You can have it any title. Okay, so I want to type 1 is true or false. Again, this is a title, so it's up to you and how you want to label it. Now the page content, this is where the question is placed. So what is the limit? What is the limit? That is my question. You don't add answers because it's true and false. I can bold in this, I can italize it, any way you want to work it out, you are good to go. And then it says what is the correct response? The correct response is since this is true and false, I need to make the statement clear. So let's start all over. Limit is a function. Let me just say this, true or false. So the right answer is true, and say when it's true, what should be the response? I want to say good job. This is how interactive this is. I always want to color this response to make it identifiable for the student. Okay, it says when the answer is correct, what happens? You want to jump to the next page, so that's why I have next page. Where should it move to? I want to follow the flow, so I just use next page. What is the score? This takes integers, so you can click the question mark here and then read what it says. It says if this is enabled, you would have marks allocated, and they are whole numbers, either positive or negative. Okay, and so you can use 2. It means that's a score of 2. What is the wrong response? The wrong response is false. And what should be the interactive thing for the student? It says, you want to try again. You want to try it again. I always said I want to format this part of my work. Okay, and it says when the answer is wrong, what do you do? There are things you can do. I want to move to the next page. Or you can say this page means that when the student is wrong, it will not move. It would require that the student take the quiz again to get it right. If you don't want to burden your students of that, you want to give them the room to either choose between taking the quiz again or just moving on. But don't worry, so there's a max. It can be negative marks, it can be 0. I prefer 0. When you're wrong, I don't want to penalize you. And then you save. Okay, so let's see where it is. So after introduction, there will be true and false question to take. So let's preview it and say limit is a function, true or false. If I choose false and then I submit, let's see what happens. It says your answer is false. The response, you want to try it again, continue. Okay, let's go back to the edit lesson and add few more quizzes. Assuming after the introduction to differentiation, you want to add a quiz, so you come here and then add a question page, and then let's choose multiple choice. So add a question. So this is test 2, and then it is MCQ. That is a page title. So AC is what? This is a name of, okay, look at this checkbox here. If you check this, it means you have multiple answers being right. If you think it's just one answer being right, don't check this box. You want to explore that. So the first answer, the answers are not supposed to be in an order, unlike true and false. Here they are multiple choice. Where you have a score of 1 is where it would denote as a right answer. So let's see. AC is a girl, and then the response is great. My spelling here, great. Move to the next page for me when the person's right. The score is 1. I just want to score you 1. AC is a boy, and then the response is think through it, think through what you just did, think through the nature, think through, that's the spelling. I want you to jump to the next page. I want to be flexible enough with the student, and the score is 0. So wherever it sees the score 0, it knows it is a wrong answer. Answer 3, AC is a woman or is a man. The response is you are wrong. That is wrong. That is a wrong choice. You can even prompt the person of the right answer. AC is a girl. Don't worry, I'll talk about that even with the prompting of answers. Someone will say, if I prompt the student an answer, the person gets it to do it again. Yes, the student gets to do it again, but then the reward is not, the marks are not awarded. Your first choice is your first choice. Okay, so 0. Let's save this one quickly, and pardon me if this becomes the longest video in our section. Where are you? So let's preview. Okay, so it sees a name of a boy, a man, and then you submit. Let's take the next thing. I want to show you all the other quiz type. Let's add a question page here. Let's try numerical. So add question. So this is test 3, which is numerical. Okay, that's my page title. So numerical, 4 plus 4 is equal to what? And then the answer is 4 plus 4 is 8. For numerical, just as we did in a model LaTeX version or the gift session, if you have multiple right answers, you can just insert them here and assign the scores. But my answer, I expect just one answer. I don't have anything aside 8. Then the response is you are doing great. You are doing great. Always get a response for your students, please, just to make it interactive, else it will not serve the purpose. You are doing great. The score for this is 3, and then when you are done, move to the next page. So let's save this and see what we have. Where is test 3? Here you are. Let's preview. So 4 by 4 is equal to, you type your answer. If I type 5 and submit, okay, it says 4 plus 4, oh my network, 4 plus 4 is 8, submit, and it says you are doing great. If it's wrong, it will prompt the user. The last set of question I want to take you through is the matching. So let's insert it right after the quotient one. Add the question page here. Match short answer you want to explore. Let's do matching. Okay, add a question page. So this is my test 4, which is matching, and the question is match the following preambles to the right choices. That is my question. Okay, it can be any form. So correct response, when the answer is correct, what should be done? Or when the right matching is done, say keep it up. Keep it up. Okay, so I want to format this for you and move to the next page. The score is 1. Don't forget, if you don't allocate a score and you forget to make it 0, it means there's no right answer. So always have a score for it. And when the response is wrong, say what do I do? What do I write? You made the bad choices. You made the bad choices. Have a second look. Always have response, please. Always have a response. So where is the format here? And then when you are wrong, I don't want to restrict you to the page. I want you to move to the next page, and the score is 0. Now this is where the matching starts. Where you have the answer is the question. So let's say AC, and then you must match it to a girl. Okay, The second one, where you have these icons, are required, so you want to be sure. It means you need at least 2 matching pairs. I want to say Kofi, and then the matching should be a boy. I can add the third one and say school, and then you should match it with learning learning mode. Yeah, this can be long sentences or mathematical expressions, just as I showed you in my already made lesson. So let's save this and see what happens. Okay, so let's preview the test. Matching. So it says match the following preambles to the right choice. AC should be matched to a girl, Kofi should be matched to a learning mode, school should be matched to a boy. So that when a student gets any of the matching wrong, your response is prompted. You made a bad choice. Have a second look. Okay, so this is how wonderful your lesson can be. Now I want to, since we've saved it, see what happens, and then I'll get back. So let's go back to our preview and then start previewing. So from introduction we have limits and principles, and then straight away the question comes. You will realize that the students are not even prompted on what if there's a question or not. So let me go back here. If I preview introduction to differentiation, I have these two, but when I move to power, I can come to quotient, and right after quotient there's a question. You don't want to do this, so what is the right thing to do? I would want to end this video here and then take you through the right thing to do in the next one. Thank you very much.